Ever wonder how to build your own AI chatbot like this? Well, in this video, I'll show you step-by-step guide how to build a simple chatbot using Vercel AI SDK with Gemini and using latest server actions using Next.js 15. And trust me, it's way easier than you think. No complicated setups and just clean simple code. So let's get started. First, let's create a fresh Next.js app. So hit Command J to open up your terminal. Let's create Next.js app by hitting Command Create, npm create next in this directory. So it's gonna ask a couple of questions. Let's do this. Now let's set up the shadcn UI with this command. Hit and then it's going to add the questions. We are going to use New York style, then neutral color, and it is going to set up. Now we'll add the button component as we are going to use only that one. Hit enter. That's it. Now let's go to page.tsx. First, remove all the code. Give it a simple as the home page like this, and let's say for hello, and let's start our server. But before that, let's add some of the packages we are going to need. So let me clear it up. Hit npm install AI at AI React and AI SDK, AI SDK Google, AI SDK OpenAI like that. So these are the packages we are going to need. Let it install and there we go. Now we have to create an environment variable to store these API keys. So hit touch.env. Then let's go to the env. Here it is. We are going to add the API key like here. Go to the AI Studio and in here, let's go here, get API key. From here, you can just create your API key, copy and paste it, and simply also go to platform.openai.com, grab your API key first, then you have to be login, of course. In here, go to the settings, then API keys, and create your here API key like that. Then I'm going to paste it here. Once it's done, close the file, and now we are ready to go. Let's hit pnpm there like that, and yeah, we're ready to go. And here we are just going to have simple hello, and that's it. Now let's go to the layout. We are going to use interfont, so just remove this and it here in from next font Google, then give it like inter and subset Latin. Then here also we are going to use the CNV helper function which comes under the hood of the shadcn UI installation, and give it anti-aliased, and here we have to also change this into like that, and enter dot class variable you can also give that, and let's change this to Vercel AI chatbot like that, and also change this description to this. Yeah, we're pretty ready to go. Now inside the app we are going to add some little bit things to make this chatbot working. So first rename this to the main tag and give it a class name of width of full, h of dvh, and let's create a one more div here with the max width of 4xl, mx auto, and height of full. And in here we are going to add the chat box component. For that, let's create a new here component, chatbox.tsx. Let's give it like this, chatbot, and let's import it here, chatbot from components chatbot like that. And now let's code our chatbot. For this, first let's make the UI first. How it was, we have first like the hello welcome message, then below we had some prompts. On click it will going to make that input and just text area or input box. Let's make this as use client component because this here we are going to add some use states and all things. So first let's create the prompts for array which we are going to add just above the input box. Let's create like prompts equal to in this array. First let's give this div a class name of relative, height of full, then flex, column, item center, like that. Now we are going to have here message content. In here create one module with the flex1 property, width of full, max width 3xl and px of 4, like that. And first let's add here one module, then give it like flex column, justify end, width of full and space y of it, like that. And here one module with the text center, space y of 2, space y of 4 and h1 with the class name, text of 4x and font semibold, like that. And give it here hi there, like that text and hi emoji, like there. Here you can see here again give it h2 with the class name, the text of excel and text muted foreground. Here add text like what can I help you with, like that. Yes, it is appearing here. Now after this div, let's create one more div with a grid calls 1. On medium devices, give it a grid column 2 and gap x of 3, gap y of 4, like that. Then below, we are going to need one more package. I forgot initially. We are going to need the frame of motion for integrating some animation when those four prompts pop up, like that. Now let's import frame of motion, like that, motion, animate presence, like that, and animate presence. Under this, let's map these our prompts, map, prompt, comma index, and like that. And we are going to have here a button. In here, just like here, prompt dot icon, and inside span, give it like prompt dot text. For this button, we are going to have a class name. For that, give it like flex, item center, gap of 3, padding of 4, text left, border, rounded XL, over, BG muted, transition all, and text of small. Now we are going to have bunch of more properties. First, let's just give it a key as index. Then, to animate this, what we have to do is, okay, so let's give it motion dot button like that, and we are going to have some properties like initial. Initially, it's going to have opacity of 0 and y of 20. So it will come from the bottom. Then let's just duplicate this to animate, give it opacity of 1 and y of 0, like that. And while tap is going to be a scale as 0.95. So as you can see, when I tap, it's creating a subtle animation. Now, so we are going to have the transition property. It's going to have a duration of zero point 0.4 and delay of index into 0.05, like that. Type of string and bounce 0.25, like that. Let's make it more smaller bit so you can see better. Okay, so we have this animate presence with the grid property. So as you can expand, it's going to have like that. But why the hell it's not coming properly? Let's check it out. Let's inspect this. We have to check. It is taking the full width and full height, but we have to, I guess, also give it a height of full. Not here. It is here. Okay, so it has been came to the bottom. Great. Now, what we have to do is now let's add the first bottom input container. Then we'll add some other things like for the messages of the AI assistant and the user. Okay, so just after the message container div, we are going to have the input container like that. Create a one more div here, give it a class name width of full, bg gradient to top, from white via white to transparent, PV of 4, PT of 6, then bottom 0, and empty auto. Like that, creating a subtle gradient from the bottom, and then we'll have one more div with the max width of 3xl, mx auto, px of 4. Then we have one more div, then relative as a border, rounded 2x on large devices, rounded 3xl, then padding of 2.5, flex, items end, gap of 2, and BG background. Like that, we have this little input box, and in here we have one main our div to make the content editable. So make this div as a self-closing and give it properties like content editable, like that. Role is going to be text box, and then date placeholder. That's not data. Placeholder is going to be message like this. Also, it's going to have a class name flex1, minimum height of 36 pixel, overflow y auto like that. Then px3, py2, focus, outline none, text of small, bg background, rounded MD, and empty before text muted foreground. Like that, to just give that a placeholder a color, then also it's going to be empty before content as attribute of data placeholder like that, and also white space pre-wrap and break words. Now what we'll do, add one button for this to make this all work. Import this button from /UI button here like that, and give it some properties like size of icon, then class name of rounded full, shrink 0, and margin bottom of 0.5 like that. And in here going to be have arrow up icon like that. Is going to have a class name of size of 5. Stroke width is going to be 2.5 like that. So you can send the message from here. But nothing is going to happen for now. Now let's make this more functional. But before that, let's add some transition to make it a bit alive. So just after this div, make this div as a motion container like that. You go and give it like animate height of auto. Then while focus, give it a scale property of 1.01, and transition is going to be having a duration of 0.2 like that, and also give this div as a motion. Then let's give it here initial property as opacity of 0 and y of 10. Duplicate this, give it a animate, make its opacity 1 and y to 0 like that. So most of the UI is done. Now let's add some functions and state to manage all these things. We are going to have some ref, create one ref for that message and ref like that. Use ref, give it like HTML div element and as a null, and also one more ref, the input ref, use ref like that. Again, HTML div element and it's going to be null like that. Now let's create state for the input as input set input youth state. It's going to be a string like that, and also we're going to have a conversation state set conversation like this youth state, and this is going to be array, like it's kind of a whole chat in which one by one messages will be appended. So we have to create a interface for the chat message. So give it like export type message like that, and give it as a role of user or assistant like this, and content as a string. So also add it in here message and its array. Now let's give some loading state which we'll need to showcase better UI like this youth state with boolean as a false like this. Also just one more state for the has started chat like that, const has started chat set has started chat like this and as a boolean. Now let's create a handler function which is going to scroll to the bottom of the chat, adds new message appends. So let's create a scroll to bottom like this arrow function, give it message and ref dot current dot scroll in view like this, and give it a behavior of smooth like this function. And let's create a use effect for that, import it from the React and just call this function. It means whatever the new message comes into this conversation array, then it is going to be scrolled to the bottom. Now let's create a function. When I click this prompt, it should like make this input as this text. So let's create a function called handle prompt click like that something, make it arrow function, and it's going to take one parameter text as a string and set input to text like this. And if the input ref dot current, then input ref dot current text content is going to be a text like that. Now let's use this function here. On this button click, we are going to have this function handle prompt click, and it's going to have a prompt like that. So whenever I click this, it should make the input. Okay, so we have one error here. Okay, we have to give it a prompt.text. Okay. So whenever I click it, it's not happening because we haven't added the input and all things here. So let's add some properties here. So it will make this input as a working. So now let's on input, make it one function like this, which is going to take as event and set input to e dot current target dot text content nothing like that. And also on key down is going to have one callback function. If let's give it as event, and e dot key is equal to and e dot shift key. So it's going to be prevent the page to reload. And here we're going to have one function to hand send like this, and we'll call this function whenever someone hit the enter button. It means if the key is enter, so whenever something is text in here and someone press enter, then it is going to run this handle send function without reloading the page. You can do, and whenever I now click, it should pop up, but because we have to give it as a ref, which is going to be like element and a callback function, then input ref dot current is equal to element like that, and if the element and there is no input, then the element dot text content is going to be as a null. Like this, you can make it. So whenever I click it, then it is going to change the input to this prompt. So when I send hint like that, nothing going to happen because we haven't implemented the main function of the handle set. So before that, we are going to need the server action to make this working. So in here, we are going to add two models, one for the Gemini and OpenAI. So let's create a lib for both. Let's first create the Gemini.ts AI SDK Google, like here, and create generative Google AI. Then export cons Gemini like this, create Google generative AI, and it's going to have API key like process.env Google generative AI API key like that for the OpenAI. Now let's create another file called openai.ts. Paste this code, add here OpenAI, change this to create OpenAI like that. Here also change to OpenAI and OpenAI API key like that. You have to add. Now let's create the server action here, actions.chat.ts. So it's going to add one folder chat actions and a chat file. Now let's code along this. First, mark it as use server component. So the response is going to be a stream, like not the generate text. What is the difference between the generate text and stream response? In here, let's go to the docs. Here you can see we have the SDK core and SDK UI, but here let's go, for example, go to the cookbook streaming. What generate text do? The generate text function just like takes some time to get the full response. Here, let's see. It is taking couple of seconds to generate the whole text and give it at once. But what the stream text function does, when I hit enter, then it is giving me the chunk of words as the AI model thinks. So user don't have to wait along what's coming in here. Like the most of the latest chatbot uses this stream text. So we are going to use the same. Now let's start with this. Let's first import some things. AI, we are going to need a stream text like that. Then import Gemini, then import OpenAI, and also import AI RSC like that. Create still like that. And also we are going to need one more thing, message from component chat box like that. Let's create our function, export const chat, mark it as a async function, pass the history as a message array. We have the stream First, it will start the stream value, and here we are going to have self-closing function, which is going to be async like this. And in here, we are taking the parameter from the stream text as a text string like that. And here we are going to the model. For example, let's say Gemini, and you can select the bunch of models below the messages as a history. Like it will have the context of whatever the message you sent. And below, let's add a for loop for const text of text string like that, and stream dot update as a text, and stream dot done to end this stream like that. And we have to also call it, and after that just return the messages history and new message as stream dot like that. We are creating like first text string, which is the whatever the response from the AI model is coming. Then for that text string, we are extracting the single text like one by one word, and into that stream we are updating that single text whatever. For example, let's say we have a sentence of a 10 words. Then for that particular sentence, we are extracting one by one word, and that is the text. And in the whole string, we are updating with that one by one text. And for each, we are just, after the stream has been done, we are just returning the messages as a history and new message as a stream dot value, like the whole sentences or words, whatever it is. And if you want, for example, OpenAI, like just mark it as OpenAI and select the respective model. You can do this. And even if you want the Anthropic model or any DeepSeek model, you have to just initialize it, add here the specific model in this string, and you are good to go. You can customize it according to your needs. Now, let's update our handle send function in the chat box to make this working. First, mark it as the async function. Then below, we'll have to check if there is not input.trim, so means there are no spaces. Then, and if it is loading, then we just return. Then below, let's say user message is as and it's going to have a role as a user, and content as input dot trim, so it will remove the spaces from the ends. And then we have to set input to empty string, then set is loading to true. Below, set conversation to previous and as previous message and user message. So means it will take the previous message array and destructure that previous message array. It means keep all the previous messages as it is and append the new user message with the input which he puts in. Now below we have to also do the set has started chat to true like that below. Now let's add the try catch block to handle the chat function. Let's destructure from await chat like that, import it from the actions chat, and we have to pass it as a history as conversation and a user message. And from here we'll destructure the new message like that, which is the new message comes from the user or the assistant. Now for the assistant message, we have to create one variable Let's say at as text content like this. Then for that text content, we have to make a new message as a assistant message like this, which is also going to have a type of message role as a and content empty string. Now we'll have to set the conversation to the previous and get the previous conversation and add the assistant message like we did in here. When we get the user message, we added it. Now we have the assistant message, we add it. Now for the each of the readable stream value comes in, that is each new message comes in, we have to get it as a form of chunks. So let's create like here const delta of read streamable value, import it from the AI RSC and give it as a new message parameter below. We have to text content to that like that. It means text content is going to have the delta plus again text content like that. So it will add one by one words into keeping that previous all content as it is, and new word comes in, it is going to happen in the text content variable like that. Now we'll have to set conversation to take the both user and assistant message. Now let's give it as a set conversation previous, and now we'll have to give it like new conversation is equal to the previous array, and new conversation is going to be new conversation dot length minus 1, which is equal as a role assistant and content text content like that. And after that we have to also return the new conversation, obvious, because it is taking the messages array, and the new conversation is the messages array as well. Now after that, inside the catch block, just add the console.error as error like that, and set conversation to act as previous how it was previously like that. We'll have to destructure it, and after that keeping the assistant message as it is. For example, I'll give it as sorry there was, please try again like that. And finally we are going to make the set loading state to the false like that. And yeah, that's pretty set. But what we have to do one thing, like why did we make this has started chat state? Because we have to remove all these things whenever the user sends one message. For example, if I send hi message, then it is not populating. So we have to also add that. After this div, we are going to wrap it under, for example, not has started chat, give it like this. And under this div, we are going to have all messages like from the user and the assistant like this. First give it as a int of 8 and space bar of 4. Make this divs also a motion. Animate it as by adding bot to be input. The input dot split backslash n dot length is greater than 3, then it is going to have 206 pixel, else 110 pixel, or 80 pixel. Now also we have to give it as a transition as a duration of 0.2, let's say like that. Now we have to map through the conversation array, conversation dot map. Then it is going to have one message and the index. We'll do this like this. Index. It's also going to be a motion.div like that. Now let's first give it as a key as index, initial as opacity will be 0 and y of 20. Then give it an animate property, animate as a 1 and y of 0 like that. And here we are going to have some dynamic class name. Import the cn helper function from the libutils, and we are going to handle like for user and assistant messages. So first give it as a flex property, then below we will give justify and if message dot role equal to user like this, but we have to add it under array like that, and justify star if the message dot role is equal to assistant like that. So the assistant message will go to the left side and the user message will be coming to the right side like that. Now let's add one more div here, which is also going to have a dynamic class name with max width of 80%, 80% like that. Then rounded XL, PX of 4 and PY of 2 like that. And it is also going to have like this. Then give it as a PG foreground, text background if message dot role is equal to user and BG as muted if message dot role is equal to assistant like that. So for the user role, it is going to have a like black background and white text, and for the assistant message, it is just going to have the BG muted. Now let's map the actual messages according to the role. If the role is assistant, then we are going to render here markdown, else we are just going to return the p tag with the white space pre-wrap like that and message.content like that. Now for here, we will also keep it as message.content of the assistant. We'll soon add the markdown content for the AI assistant. And after this div, we'll have to add one more div to like message and ref to scroll to the bottom of the chat. Also going to be a self-closing div. Give it as a ref as message and ref. So let's test it how it goes. For example, I say hello. Let's see. Nothing seems to be happen because I haven't added the API keys. Let me add it. Okay. So I just added my API keys. Now let's just test it again. Let's say hi. Yeah, there we go. It is streaming me the response. Now let's ask some question about what is JS and hit enter. You can see it is giving me the stream response without have to wait for it to hold content come. But there isn't one issue. The scroll bar is coming and the input is not sticky. So we have to add the class name to handle this. Let's go down below here where we have the input container. Now we'll have to give it as a style here. Give it as a position as started chat. If it the start like the chat has started, give it as a fixed position, else give it as a relative position. Now let's see. Let's try again. For example, let's generate a monthly income statement and hit enter. So it is again giving me the stream response, and now you can see the input box is fixed at the bottom. And here you can notice the subtle light gradient just above this input box. Now let's say how are you, for example, and it is again at sticky fixed position. Now even if I expand it to the whole world, it is working properly. Now let's test again. What is JavaScript? Let's say. Did you notice we are not scrolling below? Because let's see what is the problem. We have added the message and ref here. It is properly, but why it seems to be not working? Let's try give it as a below. Let's try again. It is still not scrolling. Okay, I just forgot we have to add the input here. It means whenever the input changes, it will scroll to the down. As you can see, it just scroll below. Now let's testing. You can see it is scrolling bit. Now let's again try, for example, book a general entry like that. Hello. You can see it is scrolling. That's how you make a full-fledged Vercel AI chatbot using Next.js and Vercel AI SDK. I hope you like this tutorial. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and subscribe for more coding projects like this. Also let me know in the comments what video you'd like to see next. Till then, see you in the next